So as you can see, for all of you many people who watch every single one of my videos, which is very few, we have changed, finally, where the camera is set up at. So I have this little thing where it's suction cup up onto my windshield, and that would obviously fall all the fucking time. So I ripped that off, and now we just have the actual little phone holder, and that is nice and extremely taped onto my dash now. So you get a much up-close picture of my face. But hopefully with the, I think like 15 strips of tape I put down to make sure it doesn't move, hopefully it should not move. But I'm probably gonna have like some PTSD where I'm reaching, trying to make sure like every single turn doesn't rip right off, which it very well could. Because we didn't have any duct tape left, so this is not electrical tape, but it's some tape we got, some Howie's hockey tape to hold this down. So it's hockey tape that we use on some of the dumbbells. So we'll see how this goes. But Best Sapper competition has officially finished today. The award ceremony just happened earlier today. Our team placings officially are 6th place, 25th, 33rd, 41st, and 49th. So we had, let's see, last year we had a 4th, a 35th, and a 48th, 49th, one of those. So we had 3 teams this year finish higher than two of our teams last year. So that was overall a huge win, especially because the team that got 6th was 9th right before the final event. So they jumped up quite a few placings for that last event, which was awesome. They crushed it. Now just got to find out how to fill this big old hole in my life, because I spent all these weeks focused on just this one singular thing. It's like, what do I do now? Well, now I get ready for next year, is really it. But saw this fun little Instagram reel yesterday, and it was this girl working with her coach on weightlifting, and she had talked about how she learned how to weightlift the wrong way. So she got really strong, used a whole lot of just muscle to throw it around, not momentum and technique. So to help with that, her coach put her through 2 hours of a workout with purely nothing, no weight, just a PVC pipe over and over, going slow through every single position they could imagine. Purely just with that PVC pipe. And one of the things she mentioned was that she has to graduate from the PVC pipe. So that's stupid for a number of reasons. But as we've talked about, just first and foremost, because we've hit on this so many times, skill requires stimulus. A PVC pipe is absolutely zero stimulus unless you are a very, very young youth athlete below the age of like 8. Again, a PVC pipe weighs a couple ounces. Definitely not a pound. Might be a pound. But substantially less. So even if, let's just call it a pound, if you can snatch an empty woman's barbell, 35 pounds, 33 pounds, then that is 1/33 of your max. 1/33 is some obscenely low percentage. And now this girl said she was strong. So let's say she was a smaller female. Let's say she can snatch 70. That is 1/70th. Let's just make the math easy and say that she can snatch 100 kilos. That is then 1% of her 1RM. If we drop that down to 50, that is now 2% of her 1RM. And that's actually not even true, because I said 1 pound and now I'm talking kilos. So it's even less. 0.5% and 1% if it's 50 kilos. That's fucking nothing. The other thing with that too is when you're going through slow and methodically with the PVC pipe, you are now even farther away from the actual lift itself, because the lift is not slow. The snatch itself takes, I think, like 0.75 seconds, probably a little bit less. The clean and jerk itself, if you just break it up into the 2 movements, once movement stops, starts, stops, starts, stops, it's like a second. It's a very, very short lift. So if you're spending time going super slow, not at a competition pace, not at a lift pace, with a weight that has nothing on it to give you any sort of adaptation, you're doing a bunch of movements that are going to have zero carryover. the only benefit you may have from that is just the logical thinking through and the mental focus of, hey, here's where I should be, here's where I should be, which may have some benefit to just how you think about the movement. But if we're not actually going that slow and we don't actually have that amount of time to think about it, then what's it going to matter? It's not. Because that is not anything near what the actual lift itself will be in terms of speed or load. On any single framework, that is not what it's going to look like. So the PVC, in form of technique analysis or technique breakdown, if you have any sort of ability to lift any sort of weight, so if you've trained for any even small amount of time, you can get a 35-pound bar over your head fairly easily. It may not look good, but you can get it overhead fairly easily. So that PVC is doing absolutely nothing for you. Even if you're a beginner, that PVC, again, it could help if like pure beginner, you've never touched a barbell in your life. All right, cool. Here is what it should look like. Here is where your body should move. All right, cool. Now let's put you on a bar. Let's see what it actually looks like. You get that, like you look at a high school sports performance center. You have hundreds of kids who have never done a clean, never done a snatch or a jerk before. You can get them moving fairly well in like half an hour. There is a lot of gatekeeping around that the snatch, the clean, and the jerk are these super, super complex exercises. You have to earn the right to do them. You have to graduate. You have to be perfect at technique. Yeah, if you want to compete, your technique is going to have to be pretty spot on. If you just want to do them for some sort of sports performance setting, you can get to a pretty reasonable technique pretty fucking quickly. And if it takes you weeks or months to teach someone how to actually do the lift, that is not a function of the lift being that complex. That is a function of you being a poor coach and just poor at your teaching progression of really getting someone to understand the movement and perform the movement. You don't need to fucking graduate from the PVC pipe, because at no point should the PVC pipe be our main source of technical development in the first place. Again, speed, so velocity, load, none of that is anything that matter. All it's going to do is force you to think about the movement more, and when the movement is going so fucking fast, more thoughts in your head is not a good thing. If you have any more than one or two cues you're trying to focus on, you're fucked. You're thinking too much, the movement's slowing down, and you are all over the fucking place. If you're trying to hyper-fixate on just like your fucking knee, you forget about the rest. And then this beautiful poetry of motion turns into this clunky looking thing where you're doing like a couple pauses in different positions and it just completely fucked up. So you don't need to graduate from the PVC pipe, because we should never be at the level where all we're doing is just PVC pipe work. PVC, again, can have its place for mobility, can have its place for a pure, never touched a barbell beginner. But even in either of those situations, it should not be your main focus. And it definitely should not be something where you're spending 2 hours on a PVC, that is your entire fucking workout, because you're not getting anything out of it. Skill requires some sort of stimulus to adapt. So in that case, hey, instead of doing this, let's put you in a variation that targets actually where your deficiency is and forces your body to solve that movement problem. If you are really bad at using your arms to get under the bar faster and actually put yourself in position, let's do things that force you to move faster, to use your arms to complete the lift. So we have panda pulls, we have pull to heights, we have things from the hip, things from the high blocks. Anything that shortens up our range of motion is simply just going to force you to be faster, because you have less momentum already built up and it already puts you in a better position to start out from. You are going to have so much more progress in the long run if you actually just focus on variations and self-organization and just giving your body a movement problem and forcing you to solve that movement problem, rather than just sitting with a 1-pound PVC pipe and moving your arms thinking that you did something when the entire time you just wasted your time and your coach doesn't really know what they're doing. So besides that, I'm happy with how this thing held up. The tape, it's wiggled a little bit, so once I actually go buy some duct tape, I can hammer that down and we'll be in a much better spot. But besides that, I'm fairly happy with how this held up. Hopefully my face and this giant wheel in the way is not too much of a distraction.